So, Brett, let's get right into this. The robot, what is its purpose?
A side-by-side graphic, your robot versus Tesla's Optimus robot. How far ahead is Tesla? Are they even ahead at this point?
Today we got to talk about robots. Now, it's an interesting topic because many people probably don't think that this is anywhere close to being actualized. But if you ask me which will happen first, an autonomous robotaxi or a general purpose robot, both of which Tesla is currently working on, I'd have to say the autonomous driving robotaxi is definitely within reach. The progress being made on Optimus has me speechless. We're going to give some credence to the robotic space.
The artificial intelligence takeover is escalating as big tech companies like Microsoft and Alphabet double down on their exposure. But one company is already taking it to the next level. Figure has announced a new funding round today as it pushes forward on its development of its autonomous humanoid robot. Brett Adcock, Figure founder and CEO, joins us now alongside Yahoo Finance executive editor Brian Sozzi. So, Brett, let's get right into this. The robot, what is its purpose?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on this morning. So Figure is designing and commercializing autonomous humanoid robots. These are robots that have 2 legs, 2 arms, hands, can basically operate in a physical environment similar to humans. Our vision here is to deploy these robots to do physical labor. So we want these robots to do, physical tasks in the real world, such as warehousing, manufacturing, retail. We see enormous amount of unemployment happening in just an overall kind of like flat line in the amount of people in the workforce. And we really hope humanoid robotics can help on the automation side, kind of fill that void and do jobs that are dangerous, monotonous, boring.
Brett, Brian here. Good to speak with you. $70 million, it's a lot of money. Where are you going to spend it? And do you have orders for these products yet?
Yeah, well, first off, we announced a $70 million Series A today, led by Parkway Venture Capital and a bunch of other just really great venture capitalists and investors. We're going to spend that money on 4 areas over the next 24 months. The first is overall robot development. So we've finished our first generation robot that is fully assembled, moving in our lab now. We're on to our second generation. We're working on manufacturing. We're building out and designing an end-to-end AI data engine. And then we're working on our commercial go-to-market. On that topic, we are in pretty deep discussions at this point with a few of the top tier kind of, household name groups in the US to deploy the humanoids into areas where these companies are seeing like significant labor shortages in overall jobs that are dangerous and repetitive that we can go in and help automate.
The purpose is simple. Nobody wants to do these jobs anymore. The faster a humanoid robot can do them, they don't complain, they don't get tired. You're not going to have to pay them anything, you're just going to have to pay the manufacturer a base fee. They're going to be better in every way than a person that doesn't want to do that particular job. But first and foremost, we got to get these things actualized. We have individuals investing $70 million to Figure to help progress this space. And if you have Elon Musk tell it, there is a shortage of people going to happen on this planet simply because people aren't having as many babies as they were before. We're looking at birth rates dropping in many countries drastically, dramatically, and a humanoid robot can help supplant that labor force. You won't need as many laborers as far as humans go if you have the humanoid robot. And it would seem there are many investors eager to plug money into a company like Figure, the financial opportunity it represents. The actualization of a humanoid robot, considering they don't get tired, they don't need sleep, they don't need money, could be a catalyst to new global GDP. It's an exciting time that we live in. If you live to 2042, you might see life expectancy of humans double, and potentially what a world it could be.
Brett, I'm curious why it has to be humanoid. And I think about, for example, an auto assembly line where a lot of that is automated by different types of robots, I guess, functions. What are the situations where specifically a humanoid would be necessary? Like, give us some examples.
Yeah, I think like for the most part, so many things have been automated today that are relatively easy. So you walk in a manufacturing facility and warehouse, anything that could be automated has basically been done. We think the advantage to a humanoid form is being able to do anything a human can in the physical world. So that means, in a warehouse, that means interacting with shelves, moving items, unloading trucks, depalletizing, restocking shelves. We view like the labor population at this point. Basically, labor population is flatlining globally. Baby boomers, demographically, the baby boomers are retiring. We haven't had as many children as we probably want. And we're basically having a huge issue in the labor population. So in the US alone, there's almost 11 million jobs that are just not wanted. And we really hope humanoids can basically move into a world that was built for humans and seamlessly interact with that world and do work. So our goal is to put humanoids in these initial areas in warehousing, manufacturing, and retail to basically fill that labor void. Over time, our humanoids should be able to do anything a human can. That will take like a lot of time and development for us to get all the way there end to end, but that's the aspiration we have.
Global flatlining of humans being produced. That's a scary, scary thought, but that's where we're at today. We're not having nearly as many humans, and many people would debate whether or not this is an issue, whether or not this is a crisis or this is better, because every human creates a carbon footprint that damages the planet. But in my humble opinion, I have great confidence that the planet could sustain a population 2 or 3 times what it is today, easily, as long as the people on that planet are working together. But I'm not in the camp that the earth can only house so many people, or we only have so many resources. I'm in the camp that the more the merrier. The earth is designed for this. We can do it as long as we do it efficiently. And that's what Tesla and companies like Figure are trying to do. There are less people being born today than 50 years ago. We have to come to grips with that. And as we project forward, there's going to be more and more jobs that people are not going to be willing to undertake. Being the intelligent beings that we are, we will find a way to circumvent that shortcoming.
Brett, we were just showing a side-by-side graphic, your robot versus Tesla's Optimus robot. How far ahead is Tesla? Are they even ahead at this point?
Yeah, I can't really speak to like maybe what Tesla's doing internally, but at least for us, we finished our full-scale development of our humanoid in December. We just got the robot fully brought up and put together a few months ago, and as of last week, we did our first robot steps. So the robot actually did its first, basically steps in the office, like our first baby.
What was Brett? What was the office vibe when you saw that? That's kind of creepy.
It was incredible. I mean, we worked so hard for last year, and to see something actually go from digital, like say software or CAD into like a physical, embodied robot and actually work was just a huge payoff for the team. And now coming off this funding round, we actually have the capital to make really large scale investments into the engineering and product side. I mean, we're roughly 50 people today, and it's, arguably one of the best teams in humanoid robotics. So yeah, we're all pretty fired up, and we basically have, a vision now into the next 24 months to demonstrate commercial viability and then ultimately getting to market and proving that humanoids can be, helpful to society.
Figure's robot just completed its first steps. Kudos, very monumental moment. And I echo the anchor sentiments 100%. It is creepy. I equate it to like having a chair move on its own. These robots are going to move from ornamental to functional furniture, essentially. This is going to be crazy. And your boy is freaked out. But there is an element of excitement that comes with achieving something that's never been done before. How far ahead is Tesla compared to Figure? Optimus is already walking, manipulating objects, and progressing at a rate that's unprecedented. Hopefully, with this money, Figure can also continue to progress. But having competition is never a bad thing. In a capitalistic society, it'll keep everybody a little bit more honest. So hopefully Figure can create a robot that is comparable to Tesla's. But when you look at how far they might be ahead from SpaceX engineers, Tesla engineers, to software engineers that they're utilizing, this robot's going to have the best talent on it. I'm afraid Tesla will have the leg up on the competition in terms of software simply because they have a massive amount of data. If Figure gets their robot functional, they will be licensing their software from Tesla because, in my opinion, their software is going to play second fiddle to something that's going to be fully fleshed out due to the real world data it's already possessing.
So to elaborate further, or to take Brian's question out further, Brett, just about the competitive landscape, what does it look like for you when you think about, because first, initially when you saw stuff like this, you think Boston Dynamics, and now you have the Tesla bot and you all. So how are you all going to stay competitive with a heavy hitter like a Tesla? Again, I agree, this is a little creepy to me.
There we go again. This is creepy. This is going to be the sentiment of every person watching this broadcast. And creepy might be an understatement. But this is happening, and this will be a benefit to humanity as long as we get the right people involved. But that's a story for another day. But this is going to happen. So we might as well build up the courage not only to accept it, but to challenge it. We need to be more knowledgeable as a populace. I don't know dick about AI, except the fact that it is a useful tool. Highly creepy, but very useful. You place that software into a humanoid robot, there's gotta be some safeguards in place. You don't want these things crushing babies and acting all Terminator, right? So we gotta be careful, and we need to be more knowledgeable. We need to see what these things can and can't do. One of my biggest fears is that we actually grant a robot consciousness, and we've created life, a la Sung from Star Trek. And then we got a bunch of datas walking around. This could get weird. But we're still taking our baby steps when it comes to artificial general intelligence. But trust, we are taking baby steps toward artificial general intelligence, and we need to understand the implications of that, myself included.
So I think like the heritage in humanoid robotics the last 10 years has been like very deep into R&D. Like there's been a lot of research and development groups like Boston Dynamics, IHMC, Honda had ASIMO project. So Toyota had a project doing humanoid robotics. For us, we look at where are the commercial groups looking like? Who's got robots that can walk, can have hands that can manipulate and move objects through the world, have the right capital to really get this done, and have the right commercial viability to bring into market. We think there's very few companies in the world that have the ability to kind of do that today.
What he meant to say was there's only one other company that can do that today, and that's Tesla.
I think what Tesla's doing is incredible. We're watching from afar and rooting for them. And here internally, we feel there's a chance for us to hopefully in the next 24 months demonstrate and then commercialize the technology, which I think will be really incredible. I think that'll feel like 50 years of the future got pulled forward. And I think having humanoids in the economy will be just a huge benefit, and we can really help fill a really big void in the economy that's happening today.
Brett, you're probably familiar with the comments that Elon Musk has been making pretty consistently about AI and the dangers of AI, and he's not the only one. And we referred frequently in this conversation to the creepiness, right? There was this unsettling nature to having a humanoid robot. If you've got a humanoid robot and AI, how do you reassure people about that sort of psychological, emotional response to something like that?
Yeah, I think it starts from the top. Like our goal is not to basically develop and design an unsafe product. We won't do any military or law enforcement work ever. I've wrote about this in kind of the company manifesto. And, we spend a lot of time on cybersecurity, just the hardware side of things and the software side of things to make sure that we're designing a safe robot. We're ultimately designing an electromechanical robot, so it's fully electric. I would almost think of this as almost like we don't want to design a very heavy duty robot. We basically want to design a robot that can basically do the minimally viable of what humans can, move light payloads around, help do work. So we're really designing a labor tool. We want to basically design, automation that can help the world and do all these things in the economy that we don't have people to do today. You walk in any manufacturing or warehouse facility today, it's not as if we were taking people's jobs. They're having, 2% weekly attrition, over 100% annual turnover. These jobs are walking 10 plus miles a day, picking 50 items an hour in very hot warehouses. We feel like there's a real need to help fill this problem in the society, and we hope that a humanoid will be able to interact with that. So our view is to hopefully design a really important product and a really safe product that can do well for humanity long term. And I think there's a real path to do that, but we have to do that very thoughtfully.
Right, and it not necessarily thinking for itself and becoming our new robot overlords. It sounds like more of a service tool. Brett Adcock, a Figure founder and CEO, really fascinating conversation. Thank you so much. And Yahoo Finance executive editor Brian Sozzi joining us for that convo as well. Thank you.
It's safe to say that Boston Dynamics is creating a truly epic robot over there, but it's not going to be for generalized purposes. It's really to test the capabilities and functionality of a robot in high-intensity situations. But what Tesla and now Figure are trying to do is create a light-duty robot. Something not designed for militaristic purposes, with safety first and foremost, and the ability to do monotonous, laborious work. And just like with autonomous vehicles, the technology is not there yet. But the only way to get it there is to invest in it, make the necessary progress, and as the costs come down predictably for the components and software that are involved in these endeavors, the impossible of yesterday becomes the obvious of tomorrow. The potential application is amazing, and you couple that with the economic possibilities, you have a worthwhile project that can not only solve many of humanity's problems, but be quite lucrative in the process. That's the secret sauce of disruption, and that's what's going to lead us into an age of prosperity, an age of abundance, if you will. Humans are explorers, and we're taking our steps in a new frontier of artificial general intelligence, and robotics is just going to be another extension of that. Well, that's all I got for you. Be easy. Peace.